In the headlines, Peter Obi, Labour Party, faults INEC's objection to petition against Tinubu, insists on review of results uploaded from bimodal voter accreditation system. Troops of Operation Haderindaji kill 5 bandits, recover ammunition in Zamfara State. Nigerians react to gradual disappearance of new Naira notes. And away from Nigeria, fear mounts for Sudan's ceasefire as former regime members escape from jail. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. And now the news in detail. Presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the recent general election, Peter Obi, has faulted the objection of the Independent National Electoral Commission to its petition against the election of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as president. Obi, in his reply to the response of INEC to his petition at the Court of Appeal Abuja, observed that the action of the electoral umpire was not unwarranted but an embarrassment to the country. According to the petition, INEC, in line with global best practices for electoral umpires in national elections, ought to avoid creating the impression that it has no respect for neutrality in an electoral contest between candidates. Obi and his party, who were joint petitioners, recalled several judgments which had repeatedly admonished INEC of its need to remain neutral in election proceedings. However, the petitioners, in their reply to the preliminary objection dated April 25, denied the contention that the facts supporting the grounds on which the petition is based are vague and imprecise. Justice Inyang Ekwo of the Federal High Court Abuja has dismissed the suit filed by the Adamawa governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Aisha Binani, seeking to be affirmed as the winner of the election. Justice Ekwo dismissed the suit following a notice of discontinuance that was filed by the plaintiff. Though she had applied through her counsel, Muhammad Sharif, to strike out the suit, Justice Ekwo declined, stressing that the appropriate order was dismissal since the court earlier directed the plaintiff to address it on the issue of jurisdiction. Binani had approached the court with an ex parte application to stop the INEC from announcing any other person as the winner of the Adamawa State gubernatorial election. In her suit, the APC candidate insisted that she was declared winner of the governorship election following the collation process, after the collation process was completed. She argued that INEC had no powers to cancel or declare a declaration which has been made as null and void. Still on court matters, Justice Nicholas Owebo of the Lagos Federal High Court on Wednesday struck out an interim order of forfeiture obtained by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission seeking to seize 14 properties allegedly linked to Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State. The court struck out the suit on the ground that Section 308 of the 1999 Constitution prevents the EFCC of any criminal or civil case against a sitting governor or the president. The court had on February 22 granted the temporary forfeiture order following an ex parte motion filed by the Anti-Graft Agency seeking to seize 14 properties located in Lagos, Abuja, and the United Arab Emirates. However, Governor Bello had filed notice of intention to oppose and an application seeking the vacation of the interim forfeiture order. The governor premised his application on the ground that the property listed were not proceeds of unlawful acts as they were acquired long before he was elected as Kogi State Governor and could not have been acquired from Kogi State funds. He further stated that by Section 308 of the Constitution, the EFCC is prevented from instituting any civil or criminal suit against him. He also protested the illegality in the filing of the suit by the EFCC on the ground that the case was in flagrant disobedience to a state high court order which restrained the EFCC from investigating any account of the Kogi State government pending the determination of the motion on notice. The leading contender for the speakership post in the 10th House of Representatives, Mukhtar Beitara, has visited President-elect Bola Tinubu with a view to extracting his support and endorsement. The member representing Biu, Bayo, Shani and Kwaya Kusar Federal Constituency of Borno State has been canvassing support for his speakership aspirations with party members-elect, former lawmakers, with stakeholders throwing their weight behind the lawmaker who they described as a man of the people. His campaign and consultation with the president-elect are one out of many consultations he has embarked upon in the last 3 months ahead of the June inauguration. In a video made available by his campaign media office on Wednesday morning, the president-elect personally held Beitara's hand as he led him into the inner room for discussions. Beitara, who currently chairs the House of Representatives Appropriation Committee, had earlier exchanged warm pleasantries with the incoming commander-in-chief shortly after having some photo sessions.
They are looking younger.
I'm glad. I want to keep him looking like that. I'm glad.
They are looking younger like youth leader. Alhamdulillah. Yes.
Let's go to the work. Mr. President, I tell you, sir, I think we leave you. I need to see you.
Moving on to security, troops of Operation Hadarindaji have killed no fewer than 5 armed bandits during separate encounters in Zamfara State. The troops, while on regular routine patrol in Damri district of Bakura local government area of Zamfara State, had credible intelligence on bandits' movement with large number of rustled cattle. The troops swiftly mobilized to their routes and a heavy gun battle occurred with armed bandits near Galadima village in the Damri district under the Bakura local government area of the state. After the encounter, 3 armed bandits were neutralized while others fled with several gunshot wounds, abandoning the rustled animals. The items recovered during the encounter include 1 AK-47 rifle, 7.62 mm special ammunition, and 5 motorcycles. 2 soldiers and 15 villagers have been reportedly killed in an attack by armed invaders on 3 communities of Akba local government area in Benue State. Locals say the attacks happened simultaneously at about 6 p.m. on Tuesday in Opaha, Odogbo and Ediku communities in Akba local government area. A local, simply identified as Kole, said 17 bodies, including 2 soldiers of Operation World Stroke, were recovered from nearby bushes in the early hours of Wednesday after security operatives combed the area. The local also said one of the deceased soldiers was the commander of the unit which confronted the armed invaders in their bid to repel the attackers from the communities while under siege. Chairman of Akba Development Association, Eche Akboko, confirmed that there was an attack in the area on Tuesday night. The State Police Command is yet to confirm the incident. While still on security, the Kogi state government has vowed to apprehend the kidnappers of the traditional ruler of Agarabunu in Kaba, Bunu local government area, David Obadofin, with immediate effect. This was contained in a statement to newsmen in Lokoja on Wednesday by the State Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Fangwa. The state government in the state described the kidnapping in a statement described the kidnapping of the monarch as unacceptable, horrendous, criminal and reprehensible, assuring that significant progress has been made in apprehending suspects behind the incident. The government, while commiserating with families of the deceased, called on locals to cooperate with security agencies in order to unravel the mystery behind the attack. Meanwhile, the late Obadofin's funeral service has been fixed for Friday, April 28 in Kaba. The late monarch, who died in the hands of his abductors last Thursday, has since been buried according to Owe traditional culture. The redesigned major denominations of Nigeria's currency seem to be scarce following the reintroduction of the old notes into circulation. Chairman Dabeng speaks to Nigerians to find out how often they get to see the old 1,000, 500 and 200 naira notes. The report.
The old 1,500 and 200 naira notes were reinstated following an order by the Supreme Court, which extended the deadline to December 31st. Now, the order came as a result of a debilitating naira scarcity, which hit the nation hard and made life difficult for many Nigerians.
The Central Bank of Nigeria, in a bid to reduce excess money in circulation, redesigned Nigeria's major denominations. However, since the reinstatement of the old notes, the new notes seem to be disappearing with each passing day.
I don't even see it again. We go to the bank, we go to the ATM, and now I'm going to the ATM. Yesterday I went to the ATM. There's no new note. It's only old one we're seeing.
I was thinking you want to give me some of the new ones. I have not seen.
When the naira came out newly, it was a little bit scarce. You can only get 1,500.
The new one not there anywhere now. Even I said 1 out of 50 pieces of ordinary 200 naira because the money no plenty now. 1 out of 300 pieces now, Baba Buhari go print come. They share them, the thing no come reach. So now you make them.
The scarcity of the redesigned 1,500 and 200 naira notes has left many worried that they may be a repeat naira crunch ahead of the December 31st deadline.
So I don't think it's true. It's not going to. It's not the deadline of the December is not going to happen.
The cashiers, they say it's only the old ones they are bringing to them from CBN. And I don't have an account with CBN to go there and look for new ones.
It's just like when the naira note, the new one came out, they were like, we should stop using the other one. Later, they changed their mind. So we hope so.
They won't put deadline when they never print money. Sell like 300 pieces, never go anywhere. If they talk of deadline, let them print money. If they print money, when money come, then they go share and everybody go get new one.
Nigerians also complained about the state of the old naira notes, with some describing them as old, torn, or falling apart.
The Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele had earlier asked Nigerians to be patient, stating that the new naira notes would soon be available and easily accessible to Nigerians. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
An electric spark has been identified as the cause of an inferno at Yankatako Market in Sabangari, Zaria. The fire incident that started around 1 a.m. Wednesday morning continued to burn till early hours of the afternoon. The Chief Security Officer of the market, Hamisu Buhari, said the fire occurred when Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company restored power at about 2 p.m. Then suddenly, an electric pole sparked and fell on the roof of one of the shops. Buhari further stated that efforts to get the fire service within the area proved abortive. In an interview with chairman of Timber Shed in the market, Alin Asharu, also attributed the inferno to an electric spark that emanated from an electric pole. He stated that more than 150 shops had been burned to ashes, while property worth millions of naira were destroyed. Meanwhile, the Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company has denied that it was responsible for the incident, which instead started from one of the shops in the market.
A halin yanzu wannan yanayin yadda kasuwar sabon gari kenan, kasuwar yan katako da kasuwar sabon gari da kuma sabon gari ta kama da wuta. Wutan ya kama ne kamar yadda aka mana bayani tun misalin karfe 2 dare har zuwa wayewan garin, har zuwa yanzu nan da nake magana da kuma misalin karfe 10:30 na safe wutar tana ci. Don har yanzu ma masu kashe gobara ne a halin su kashe gobara.
You're watching Trust News Update, coming up after the break. Displaced Oyo residents beg for adequate compensation. Stay with us.
Morning Nigeria. Year after year, they have informed, educated, and entertained us. When you needed information, knowledge, or an escape.
From generation to generation, the Nigerian broadcasting industry has worked tirelessly to serve you.
And now, this service will finally be recognized.
Come May 17th this year, broadcasters all over Nigeria will gather at a hotel and suites for the maiden edition of the Nigerian Broadcasting Awards, an award ceremony set to reward hard work and excellence in the broadcast media. Voting starts on 20th April and ends on 4th May 2023. Visit www.tnbawards.ng to vote now. They've served and they're still serving. It's time we say thank you. This award is organized by the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, Bonn.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Trust News Update. Here's a recap of some of our top stories. We told you that Peter Obi Labour Party faults INEC's objection to petition against Tinubu, insists on review of results uploaded from bimodal voter accreditation system. You also heard that troops of Operation Hatted Daji kill 5 bandits, recover ammunition in Zamfara State. Moving to other stories, the Center for Information Technology and Development has called on the National Communication Commission to come up with regulatory frameworks for community networks, including no fee for licensing as is done in other African countries such as Kenya for its citizens, by supporting community networks through paying for the license fee and getting them a backhaul to use. Addressing a news conference on community in Kano, CITAD confirmed that many communities in Nigeria are forced out of not only making phone calls, but also enjoying online businesses such as e-commerce, among others. Residents of Orishumbare, an agrarian community in Akinyele Local Council District of Oyo State, have kicked against the forceful acquisition of over 310 acres of their ancestral land without commensurate payment of adequate compensation. The aggrieved residents call on government to stay true to their previous agreements by properly resettling them and ensuring they don't feel the impact of siting and construction of a dry seaport in the Akinyele local government area. The report.
These are aggrieved residents of Orishumbare, an agrarian settlement in Akinyele Local Council District of Oyo State. Inhabitants of this community that cuts across about 31 villages are against the proposed siting of a dry seaport in their locality without adequate compensation.
We are here, the government came, they collected our farm, they told us that they compensate us, that we should not be worried that they give us normal term something. So they came very soon now, on 27th of March, they gave us check. The check they gave us, we went to the bank. The check is bounced. It's fake check. This is evidence. I can show you. Here is the check.
The money they are paying us is not up to the amount they are supposed to give us. Someone with 5 hectares of land was given 35,000 naira. Someone with a 6-bedrooms bungalow was given 2 million naira. We all know how much building materials cost. They also promised us resettlement, but nothing was done.
Residents here say government at all levels had not stayed through to previous agreements, a move which had sent cold shivers down the spine of those residents whose future, they say, remain uncertain.
A land that is 45 acres, and they gave them 37,700 naira. And that acre of land worth like 45 million naira. The money they are giving people is very small. That is why we solicit the help of governor. Maybe Governor Seyi Makinde is not aware of what is happening.
They didn't give us anything till now. There are some buildings that are worth more than 5 million, 10 million naira. They give some that are just see them their own check. They give them 2 million, 1 point something million. The land, they give them 35,000, 25,000.
Another area of concern to these aggrieved residents is the issue of security, which continues to deteriorate on a daily basis. They appeal to the government to address the situation. We're appealing to Oyo State government to come to our aid. Security here has been so bad that criminal elements have turned uncompleted buildings here to their hideouts. Armed robbers have been coming to attack us inside our houses. I'm yet to collect my own money, while those that have collected checks are complaining bitterly. As the clock continues to tick, residents here hope that governments at all levels would see reason to put machinery in place towards ensuring they do not lose their prized heritage.
In business, the World Bank says inflation in food prices remain globally high. The bank stated this in its food security update issued on Wednesday. Between December 2022 and March 2023, available data shows high inflation in almost all low and middle income countries. Inflation levels are above 5% in 70.6% of low-income countries and in 90.9% of lower middle-income nations. It is above 5% in 87% of upper middle-income countries, some of which are experiencing double-digit inflation. The report also indicated that about 84.2% of high-income countries were experiencing high food price escalation. The Food and Agriculture Organization earlier said the index of international food commodity prices declined for the 12th consecutive month in March 2023. This month, the World Bank announced plans to provide $30 billion over 15 months, including $12 billion as part of efforts to tackle the crisis. Stranded Nigerians in Sudan have begun movement to Cairo, Egypt. The chairman and CEO of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, confirmed this on Wednesday via her official Twitter handle. The NIDCOM boss disclosed that the students are being put on buses according to their states of origin. It is not clear that the number of Nigerians that have moved so far, but the NIDCOM chairman added that 2 more buses from El Razi University were ready to also depart, adding that the first set took off from International University for Africa. Moving on to the foreign scene, Sudan's army and a paramilitary force battled on the outskirts of the capital on Wednesday, undermining a truce in an 11-day conflict that civilian groups fear could revive the influence of ousted autocrat Omar al-Bashir and his loyalists. Fueling those concerns, the army confirmed the transfer of 79-year-old Bashir from Khartoum's Koba prison to a military hospital, along with at least 5 of his former officials, before hostilities started on April 15. Airstrikes and artillery have killed at least 459 people, wounded more than 4,000, destroyed hospitals and limited food distribution in the vast nation, where a third of the 46 million people were already reliant on humanitarian aid. Foreigners fleeing Khartoum have described bodies littering streets, buildings on fire, residential areas turned into battlefields, and youths roaming with large knives. The White House said a second American had died there. Over the weekend, thousands of inmates were freed outright from prison, including a former minister of Bashir's government who, like him, is wanted on war crimes charges by the International Criminal Court in The Hague. Now in sports, Aqua United are aiming to win their third Federation Cup title in 8 years. The Uyo outfit won Nigeria's oldest club competition in 2015 and 2017. The Promise Keepers will begin their campaign in this year's competition with a round of 64 fixtures against Wiki Tourists at the INEC Stadium in Enugu. Head coach Ayodeji Ayeni is expected to select a strong side for the game. And finally, the two Kebbi Beach soccer clubs have continued to maintain their lead in the Nigeria Beach Soccer League for 2023. At the conclusion of round one of the league at the Filin Sukwa in Birnin Kebbi, Kebbi BSC was in first place with a maximum of 9 points, followed by Kebbi United with 8 points from wins over Lagos Smart City, Kwara Kada, and Akwa Ibom Beach soccer teams. In the first round of the league, Manko Patigi Beach Soccer Club had 6 points, Kada BSC 3 points, while Smart City of Lagos and Ibom BSC had 0 points each. The first round of the league ended after 3 games in Birnin Kebbi. According to the national coordinator of NBSL, Mahmoud Hadeja, 6 clubs are participating in the league this season. And with that, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Husseina Usman. Thanks for watching.